Hey everyone, Magic Man Scott 40k here. Today I'll be doing a review on Lord of the Rings Gollum. I watched other people play it and I wanted to give it a fair shot. I did watch the Hobbit movies and the Lord of the Ring movies. I played most of the Lord of the Ring games, and also I did research on the story of Lord of the Rings. So the movies take place in the Third Age, and I was wondering what the Third Age even was. So I did some research on that, and then I wanted to know what happens after Lord of the Rings was over. So I did some research on that. So basically, I pretty much know the story of Lord of the Rings, start to finish. And if you guys didn't know, on the news, they're actually making a Lord of the Rings Gollum movie, and it's supposed to have the same Aragorn actor in it, and I think it's going to have a lot of returning actors in it. So they're basically making a movie off this game. Now, a lot of people have said this is the worst game ever made. And it was so bad that it killed the studio. Now I want you guys to know, the studio who made this game, they don't make stealth games. I think they made turn-based games. So this is a studio that specializes in turn-based games, making a stealth game for the first time. And I want to give you guys my thoughts on the game. Now, I didn't beat it, but I did play it for 8 hours straight. So I was thinking this would be a really short game. That's what I thought. Every time I went to a streamer, they played it for like an hour and a half. And I was like, oh, must be like an hour and a half game. Because why would you buy it and then play it for an hour and then give up? It's not a cheap game. So even on sale, it's like $15. Now, would I recommend this game? Maybe. I really think it's not as bad as people are saying it is. It's really not that bad. Now, is it terrible? Okay, so let me start over. Lord of the Rings Gollum. So from what I understand, this game takes place, I want to say, either after the Hobbit movies or in between the Hobbit movies. So if you're familiar with the Hobbit, this game will make a lot of sense. And honestly, you don't really need to be a Lord of the Ring expert to play the game. The game is just sneaking around and avoid getting caught. That's basically the game. And you don't need to be a Lord of the Ring expert to play it. Now, I do have the game installed, but if I record and play it at the same time, it gets wonky. So I don't think I'll show you guys any gameplay footage. I know gameplay footage of this game is really rare. Only 3 people have played this game. It's very rare to find anyone playing it. But I really do want to give this game a fair shot, because I seen everyone bully this game into oblivion, and I really wanted to give it a go. Is it a meme? Is it absolute garbage? I'll say this. So from the time I spent with it, I really do think the company who made it are big fans of Lord of the Rings, and I do think they like the characters. They put a lot of soul into the game, a lot of charm. They put the time to give everyone a personality. All the slaves have personalities. All the orcs have personalities. There's a real charm to the game. And it's really hard for me to hate it. I do think it's overpriced, and I do feel bad it shut down a studio who's pretty famous for a different genre. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the store page. Now I did have to play this game on the lowest settings for it to work for me. On high settings, everything kept popping in and out of like a table. The tables keep popping in and out, and that made it I couldn't play the game. So on the lowest settings, things finally stopped popping in and out, and I can actually play the game. Now, is this the best looking game ever? No, not even close. But I do think they nailed. Here's the thing: Lord of the Rings Gollum. I really do think they nailed the world. The Lord of the Rings world. I actually do think they nailed it. So when it comes to like being a fan of Lord of the Rings and exploring this world, I think they did a great job. Now my only real issue with Lord of the Rings Gollum is I really did not expect it to be over 8 hours. I did not beat it yet, but it's still going. I really did not expect this game to just keep going. So I'll go ahead and show you guys some pictures so you guys aren't bored looking at this. The game has a lot of issues, 100%. So even this, I have not done this part. I can tell. I just played the game. But I have not done this part, but I think this actually looks great. This looks fantastic. Now Gollum looks like crap, but everything else looks fantastic. Looks great. They even added like these fireflies in the back. This is supposed to be like an elf area, which is interesting because not many games really explore the elves. And I think this game actually spends a lot of time with the elves than most games. Another thing I want to say about Gollum before I keep going is I think the writing is actually really good. The voice acting is pretty good. It's just, okay, so the characters look like total garbage, but the voice acting is great. It's hard to explain. So, okay, so this is what the game looks like. I think this looks fantastic. This looks amazing. And this is actually this is actual gameplay footage. This is what the game looks like. Now I will say you have to get to the end of the game to see this. This is at the very end of the game. For most of it, it is ugly. Like a good I will say this, a good chunk of the game is ugly. But I think this is gorgeous. Maybe the game should have started here, because this is a massive improvement. Let me go on to the next one. I think this is actually the very start of the game. It's hard to tell. The mountain. Okay, so Gollum lives in a mountain, and it's kind of a border between the bad guys and the good guys. He's right on the border of the war, basically. And the mountain looks like crap. I cannot defend this. This looks like total crap. This is at the very start of the game. Keep going. Again, they keep showing the elf area. This is another area I have not done. I'm starting to wonder how long this game actually is. If you guys don't know the story of Gollum, people figured out he was a ring bearer, and because of Bilbo, and everyone is chasing Gollum down for information, and that's it. That's the whole game. Everyone in Lord of the Rings is chasing this guy down for information about the ring, and honestly, they don't even like punch him. Every character in this game like grabs you, and that's it. They don't like tear your head off or anything like that. So honestly, Gollum gets Gollum gets treated pretty well by the bad guys. Now I will say in Gollum, you do awful things. So I would say, I think you're guaranteed to do awful things. You can't really change it. So you're not a hero. 100%. You are not a hero in this game, and that can be off-putting for some people. Like, I want to be the hero. You are absolutely not a hero. I want to get that out of the way. I cannot defend Gollum. He's an absolute jerk. Man, they keep showing the elf area. This is where I stopped. I did this cutscene and then I stopped. So right before this cutscene, you have to break into the Elf King's room, and after you do that, Gandalf shows up and they have this conversation, and you're eavesdropping on the conversation. And she's like a soldier to the king, but she's like kind of insane. So they locked her up because an insane elf is dangerous. And Gollum is definitely insane, 100%. He's 100% insane. So when he saw this insane elf, they just bonded. They're like friends now. They hang out, they're friends. But yeah, it's basically just two insane people hanging out. Really, they're just hated by everyone. I think this is actually a really interesting part of the game because it really explores the Elf King and the last Elf King, which you really don't see anywhere else, like ever. I think this game does a better job of exploring the elves than pretty much anything else out there. It really does not show the prison segment, which is interesting. It's not showing the prison segment at all. Interesting. I was gonna show you. So a good chunk of the game takes place right underneath Sauron's like foot, basically. You're right next to Sauron, and there's the ring wraiths, and you got the orcs, and you actually hang out with the mouth of Sauron. The mouth of Sauron being a pretty big deal. So basically, in the first hour of the game, you see all of Sauron's like lieutenants, generals, stuff like that. These are really big characters. They're a huge deal in the story, especially the ring wraiths. The ring wraiths are a massive deal in this game, or in the story. And it's interesting to see Gollum interact with all these like generals and stuff. It's actually like really interesting relationship. Now what's interesting is Gollum is definitely a piece of crap character. He's a bad guy, 100%. But what's interesting is he's a bad guy who hates everyone, really. He hates the orcs. He hates Sauron. He hates everybody. So it's interesting seeing a bad guy interact with the other bad guys. It's a really interesting relationship. And he even hangs out with Gandalf, which is, he hangs out with like the most powerful people ever. And it's just extremely interesting. Now Gollum is a guy you can barely kill anything. He really struggles to kill anything. And here he is hanging out with like Gandalf. So the story, I think, is actually a page turner. I'm actually very invested in the story, just because of this whole relationship thing. Anyways, I'll talk about the game. So the game is mostly jumping and hiding. Now, in my experience, the hiding part is not that hard. If you hit the L1 button, you can see where everyone is looking at, and they have a very obvious pattern. And they turn left, they turn right, and what you're supposed to do is run past them when they turn right. So stealth sections, I think, are pretty easy. You also have a distraction rock, which makes it even easier. Now, if you get caught during these stealth sections, it's an instant game over. But these stealth sections are like 2 minutes long, give or take. They're very in and out. So having a game over is not that bad. It's like a 2 minute. You die 2 minutes. It's not too awful. Now the jumping sections, sometimes they're good. Like, I'm very impressed by how you have these ledges, right? These ledges are very obvious. Like this ledge here. You see how this ledge sticks out like a sore thumb? These ledges are extremely obvious that you can grab onto. And I'm actually impressed by how it blends in with the art. So you can see this ledge here, you can obviously climb it, and you can obviously go up it here on this side path. But if you look at this at a glance, it's hard to tell that you can climb up here. And I think basically what I'm saying is I'm very impressed at the gameplay is blended in with the art. That is something that a lot of games mess up on. So basically what I'm saying is Gollum is actually a extremely high quality game that's extremely frustrating to play. I did get mad playing this. It's not... I think the game is actually fun, and the story is actually really good. So there are certain sections of the game that are downright, like, I don't want to say impossible, but they're like near impossible. And I will say this. They ask a lot from the player. You have to make like 5 impossible jumps in a row. And if you mess up one of them, you have to start over. Now, every 5 jumps, you get like a checkpoint. Now, these checkpoints are hit or miss. Sometimes you get a checkpoint as you're dying. Sometimes you get a checkpoint right in the, in a good spot. So these checkpoints are extremely hit or miss. Either they save your life or you're just infinitely dying. So these checkpoints are wonky. And I think my biggest problem with the game is they just ask a lot of the player. Like I said, you have to make like 5 impossible jumps in a row. And something I learned the hard way is you can control Gollum as he's falling down. And a lot of these jumps require you to turn while you're falling down. And it's not obvious. So I think that's my biggest problem with the game. So, you'll be like, okay, say you're on this ledge right here. And instead of going, okay, I think most people would climb this ledge and go straight. I think a lot of people would do that. Gollum is the kind of game where they want you to go at an angle. So instead of going straight up like a normal person, they'll have you go at this weird angle. Like this, if that makes sense. So you're constantly turning your stick at an angle, and it's very weird. It's very weird to adjust to. A lot of these jumps you have to turn in midair. You have to like twist your guy as you're jumping, and it's extremely awkward. Another part of the game I really don't like is the stamina. The stamina can go to hell. So Gollum, who specializes in agility, can only run for about 2 seconds, and this is really important for the gameplay because the gameplay is very stamina heavy. So this guy can only run for like 2 seconds, even though he's agility, and they need to get rid of the stamina. They just need to get rid of it. The whole running for 2 seconds, and then when you run out of when you run out of stamina, Gollum gets like a heart attack. When you run out of stamina, Gollum gets a heart attack, and your controller shakes like crazy. My controller has never shaked that hard before, and every time you run out of stamina, your controller shakes like it's gonna break the table, and it's extremely annoying. Basically, they just need to scrap the stamina mechanic. I know the studio closed, but yeah, if they need to like just completely scrap the studio mechanic or the stamina mechanic, it's unbelievably awful. It's complete garbage. It's so unbelievably bad. The stamina mechanic basically just kills the game. It just kills the gameplay. Now there's certain areas where you don't have to worry about stamina, and that's the best part of the game. These levels that don't require you to run, don't require you to hold something that drains your stamina, those are easily the best part of the games. So yeah. So basically when the game is being normal, that's the best part. When the game wants you to turn in midair, that's definitely the worst part of the game. And also, sometimes there'll be a timer or some kind of fail condition, and it's like a test. And I'll say this: Gollum is a jumping game, but he jumps like a frog, and is really hard. You have to make these really accurate jumps, and he's jumping like a frog, and his super jump is all over the place. His super jump makes no sense to me. Sometimes he'll go like a mile, sometimes he'll go like 10 feet. I don't really get it. His super jump makes absolutely no sense. So yeah, and I'll say one more thing about Gollum. It is not forgiving at all. You have to make 5 impossible jumps in a row, and if you mess up any of these, you have to start over. Now there is a checkpoint every like 2 minutes, so I think the game is self-aware. It knows how difficult it is. This is the first time I played a game where there's a checkpoint like every 30 seconds. There's literally a checkpoint every 30 seconds. I think that's because they know how awful the game isn't total trash, but it's really just certain sections. Certain sections are just absolutely. I will not play this game twice because I just hate the game. Asks too much of the player. That's my problem. That's my biggest problem with the game. It just asks too much from the player. And again, I have not beaten the game. I have not done this section yet, so I'm really just scratching my head. Like, how long is this game? Literally, the story is people are trying to find you for information, and Gollum is like too insane to even say words. So he is the worst source of information. Like, people are trying to get words out of him, and he can barely talk. It's kind of cringe, a little bit. I think the world is great. I have not read the Lord of the Ring books. I don't know how long the Gollum part is. It feels long, extremely long. Also, it makes you wonder. People are really going out of their way to capture you. They're spending a lot of resources to capture you. So this information Gollum has must be like diamonds, right? Because people are sacrificing everything to find you. So, and again, when they find you, like, nothing bad happens. It's not, they really don't like tear you in half or anything. They don't hate you. They're not like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. When you lose, it's not like crazy. These are like the worst bad guys ever. They're pure evil. They're the embodiment of evil. And they just grab you and go, okay, now tell me this information and you're free to go. Like, that's it. So, and really this whole game is just you holding on to this information, this secret. And this secret is so valuable that it's an 8-hour game. You spend 8 hours running around, hiding, avoiding people, stuff like that, just to hold on to your secret. So it's a bit ridiculous. I know Gollum is the precious guy. He's precious this, precious that. But I don't know. I do think this game is kind of self-aware of how difficult it is and how kind of silly it is. So, I don't know. Now, after playing Gollum, I do think this game has one of the worst DLCs ever in the history of gaming. So, I don't really know what they were thinking with the DLC. I did some research on this game. Apparently, they were forced to make it. Again, this is a turn-based company. They don't make stealth games. This is their first stealth game ever. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I played it on low settings. The characters look like crap. They look like chalk. But the world looks great. So I don't really understand that. But anyways, that's my review of Gollum. I actually do recommend it. If you get it for like dirt cheap. It is an 8-hour game, and the quality is actually really high. But I will say, this game is not for beginners. You should play some other jumping games before you play this. This is not a beginner-friendly game at all. It's not beginner-friendly, like, even a little bit. I would recommend playing other stealth games before you play this. Basically, I recommend you to play Metal Gear. Whoop! I keep dropping my mouse. Sorry about that. But basically, I would recommend you play Metal Gear or something like that. Like, this game is for veterans of the genre. You have to be a veteran 3D jumper or a veteran stealth game player to really play it. And that's gonna be my 2 cents. I can keep going on and on about the game. It has a lot of very strange decisions. I think the thing that annoys me the most is this is just a story thing. Everybody is extremely intelligent except for Shelob. And Shelob is supposed to be this extremely powerful witch sorcerer girl who's extremely intelligent. And she doesn't say anything. And I feel like that's a huge downside. They make Shelob look like a total idiot. even though Shelob is like this powerful like god. So that every character in this game is amazing, except for Shelob. I feel like Shelob should be this all-powerful, all-knowing creature. I'm pretty sure Shelob is like immortal, and Shelob is treated like a joke. So I don't know. I feel like Shelob should be more powerful. That's my 2 cents on the game. Sorry for, I don't know. That's my take. Do I think the game is mostly negative? No. I think this game has actually some really good moments. Should you buy it? Maybe. I would say, I don't know. It has a lot of charm. The charm is why I keep playing it. Every character has like soul. So I just want to keep on playing it. So, but the jumping does feel impossible. So that's my 2 cents on the game. I have not beat it yet. I will keep playing it. But yeah, I don't think it's total trash. But I actually do enjoy the game. I'll say that. That's my thoughts. Do I recommend it? I don't know. Maybe if you get if you get it like dirt cheap, and I do mean dirt cheap, I do think it's worth it. It is a full game, like start to finish. So I don't know, and I do think the voice acting is good, and the writing. I think the writing is actually really good. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on this game. Maybe just watch the cutscenes on your phone. The cutscenes are actually pretty solid. So that's my 2 thoughts on the game. I did watch all the movies. I even did like bonus research, so I do know quite a bit about Lord of the Rings. I'm not like the biggest Lord of the Rings guy, but I do know a little bit. But yeah, that was my 2 thoughts on the game. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.